Miss Nisha Bhakar, Principal, Navyuga World School, Nellore, Andhra Pradesh, entered when big questions were arising in the traditional world of education. Her past 2 decades of hands-on approach towards child development and education and her ability to sense practical solutions customized to every classroom has turned around many schools. She has led schools in Gurgaon, Hyderabad, and Jaipur, and is currently the Director Principal Academics heading three schools which are promoted by one of the Asia's largest private ports, Krishnapatnam Port in Andhra Pradesh, India. Ms. Bhakar is also engaged as an advisor and consultant to schools like United World College Pune and Mount Carmel School Delhi, to name a few. She was the member of core team uh, of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan led by NCRT Reading Cell. She has been the part of Indian principals team visiting Germany, Singapore, and Canada to understand the higher education system in these countries.
Ms. Bhakar has been actively involved in developing teacher resource packs for the English language teaching for Oxford University Press and Pearson Education. She was awarded the Best Educationist Award in the year 2012. Ms. Nisha Bhakar has also been honored as one of Asia's greatest leaders of 2019. We welcome you, ma'am, to Juana Studio Cityscapes. Today, I, Brinda, of Indus Valley World School, Kolkata, and my friend Siddhant of Venkateshwar International School, Delhi, would like to interview you on your experiences as a school leader, as well as your thoughts on the effect on traditional education during this current pandemic scenario.
Thank you, both of you.
So, ma'am, where do you stay? And tell us three unique things about running a school in your city.
Okay, I come from Rajasthan and I have my house here in Gurgaon. And I'm currently working down south. So there are three different places that we are talking about. But come to think of Nellore, then I think the most unique thing about Nellore is that it's got one of the largest private shipping port, Krishnapatnam Port. We are a part of that. I'd never seen a port ever in my life before. I'd only read it in textbooks. But when I got to see is when I understood, what a port does. Then that place is definitely known for the most awesome and amazing mangoes and great variety of rice. So that's about Nellore. And of course, it's got, Tirupati temple and a lot of beautiful temples around.
That's very interesting, ma'am. Now, what do you think is one thing that binds students to a school?
Oh, that's amazing. I wish I could even ask both of you this. But to be very honest, in all these years that I have been in schools and interacted with children, I think what's really important is that, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of care. They don't feel scared coming to the school. They don't feel scared approaching anybody in the school. It's their space. And then, to ensure that the classrooms are so exciting and amazing. Of course, every minute of the day can't be exciting and amazing, but largely the experience that or the time that they spend in school is a mix of, good memories when they go back home in the evening. And it's not just the sports that they talk about and enjoy. They also enjoy what happens inside the classrooms and building great relationships. So if all of that is taken care of, I think children really enjoy coming to school.
Yes, that's absolutely true, ma'am. Now, I would like to know, prior to this lockdown, how effective would you say your school's communication was with students and parents about the upcoming situation?
Well, we did do a few sessions with children, like we were instructed by the government. It was very clear indications given. Government orders were sent across that we have to, make children aware. So there were a lot of assemblies where it was done. There were a lot of drills that were conducted. There were a few messages which were sent across to the parents with, short in very brief write-ups about what they could do back home and what the school was doing in the, while the children were coming. But I think it just happened very suddenly. So it was just about a week that we spent on that, and then suddenly there was a lockdown.
Absolutely. That is a great outlook, ma'am. So I was just curious, can you talk about some recreational activities that you have adopted during this time of lockdown?
With the children?
Ma'am, yourself, ma'am.
Oh, myself?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So, the biggest recreational activity I've done is that I've explored the technology beyond just Netflix. And so, I've got to know technology more. Look at me talking on Teams, Microsoft Teams, to both of you sitting at such distances. So that's been really amusing. It's been enlightening. It's been frustrating at times. But I'm so glad that something which I always wanted to avoid. And my son is a lot into technology, doing computer science, and I just don't understand half the things that he would tell me. So all that I was with was Facebook, maybe a little bit, not much. Then I got into Instagram. That I felt that was the end of the world. But now it's just, I've explored so much, and you realize, good Lord, there's enough that technology can offer you, and then the way you use it. So it really empowers you. It really makes you feel that you are in sync with this younger generation that you're going to teach. And it was amazing to see how children have just adapted to it. We thought they would take a lot of time, but I felt teachers took some time, but children were like quick. So I've been exploring technology quite a lot. Besides, of course, gardening and doing yoga with my old parents, ensuring that they also do it, and of course, reading. So these are a few things that I've done over and above the work that we've been busy with.
That's a great motivation to all our listeners, ma'am. So also, have you adopted any improvised structure or format for online classes, considering that the blind replication of regular classes might not work as effectively?
Yes, Siddhant. In fact, initially that was quite for 2, 3 days, we were
Absolutely.
completely at a loss. We didn't know what to do. And then, you start attending a lot of webinars, you start exploring on the net, then you start talking to people. Of course, we were already a Microsoft school, but, before you take on something so effectively and as the only solution for your school to reach out to students, I also wanted to do my homework and see if we were on the right track. And then all of us, when I say all the teachers and all the HODs, we all collaborated. We shared our researchers, we shared some of the apps that were available, we explored, then we discussed, and we realized that Microsoft Team was a very good, reliable solution for us. And then, of course, we spoke to the team, and since then, it's been going on. There's been a lot of hand holding. We've learned a lot on that. We've learned to improvise, and it's been about a month, and I see that we are getting better at it. With beginning with, oh, whether we, when you're speaking, you're in a flow, then, oh, I need to click here to share something, I need to do this, and you get stuck for a while. But now it's coming very naturally. So that, of course, has been a great change for us.
Truly, ma'am, we as students, we felt like were taking time to adjust to these classes, and they were a struggle for us. But imagining how teachers had to take initiative and figure out these things in a span of a few days just to make sure that we kept up with our curriculum must have been difficult. And it's hats off to all of you, honestly.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. I think this is one big learning that, what teaching community had not done in the last 10 years. We did it in, I think, 1 month.
Exactly, exactly.
I'm not saying this only for my school. I'm saying for schools all across. And we have three different kinds of schools. One is a completely rural school where children don't have an access to technology. Then there are schools like your schools, which are so blessed that there are children who have the entire technology. One of our school, Navyuga, has technology. Kids have, that's where we're using Microsoft Teams. So it was not just using which platform, it was also a lot of places. What is the best way to reach out to children? So at places, WhatsApp worked, at places, just calls worked, at places, nothing has worked. And at places, a lot of good online stuff has worked. So hats off to the teaching community that they've done so fabulously well. They've just done so fabulously well. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. As a student, I completely agree. Now, what do you think is the outcome of student engagement during online classes? And how is it different from the conventional face-to-face classes?
Well, honestly speaking, Brinda, I really don't know what would be the outcome, because I think once we get back to the school and where we get to meet children face to face is when we'll be effectively able to tell that to some extent, that what has been the impact and how much the learning has happened. But
Hmm.
sure enough, you do make some sense of the class while it is happening, because physically children are not present, and a teacher relies a lot on the body language of the child and being physically present, and so goes for the student as well. So
Hmm.
there you do, like what I just shared even earlier, that with each passing day we do feel that we're getting effective. So the effort from our side as a teacher, because even I take a few lessons, not too many though, are that the effort I feel is lesser by each day, and we're learning new things. So we learning, oh, I can use this as well, I can use this as well,
Yeah.
and we're not shying away from exploring more. and trying out. So I think, and we do get a sense that children are trying to engage, they're participating, they all come on time, except of course a few kids here and there who are not
Yes.
so participative or don't attend at all. So yeah, so I think once we get back, we'll exactly know what the impact is. But it's not too bad so far. And as compared to the the classroom teaching, oh, it's quite a shift. But also the
Absolutely.
could definitely also be applied. This is not something that just is going to be discarded, I guess. It
Yeah.
So
definitely.
time and circumstance are basically what led to us exploring this very effective
Yes.
medium of communicating with students.
So I
And
think
it,
once schools reopen, will be in a more, a space where I guess a blended approach would really work for children very well, and
yes.
for school also.
Yes, ma'am, it would help as a alternative to the regular classroom, because I don't think that in the coming time the regular classrooms will get obsolete. They'll still be the picture, and they will still be as a medium. And whereas online classroom, according to me, will take a alternative stand.
I'm not sure if the current classroom scenario would get obsolete, because if it
Yeah,
had
well,
been obsolete, it would have been obsolete way back. But yes, I'm saying I think there's going to be a different approach. It might be more blended, and technology will definitely play a larger role than what it had been playing.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very
yeah.
true, ma'am. My last question to you would be, what more can be done to at least decelerate the process of brain drain, particularly among students from the branches of technology and science?
So what can be done for the brain drain?
To decelerate this process, yes.
Okay, so now that's quite a technical question, huh? So you know what? As a teacher, I feel that there is never a need to make a complete change in what is happening, because there is something nice that's already being implemented, but at the same time, there is something that you have to create a space for something new to come in. So while we said that books, reading books in library was extremely important, so we still believe in that, and a lot of people do that. But at the same time, there were a lot of digital books also that came in. So I think to completely, I don't know if it's a brain drain for a child, and but yes, there is definitely a change that's happening in the student community, and very important, which has happened now, that teachers keep, are at pace and in sync with what's happening around the world, and how children would today want to learn. So if that is done, and if that balance is maintained, that we don't stick to our positions, and we go with the flow where children are, then I think a lot of things can be curtailed, and a lot of things can move in the right direction. But in the end, the fun part is always that there's nothing like a 100% quick fix solution.
Okay.
The good thing is that there's a lot of things that fail and a lot of things work, and I think that's going to be always. Yes, yeah.
Yes. Ma'am, on the same lines as the previous question, I would like to know, what do you think is the most defining element of difference between the Indian institutes for higher studies and those in the other countries?
Okay, now, yeah, that's quite interesting, to be very honest, because when I was traveling around visiting universities, I felt that, one major differentiator was that they focus a lot on research, which does
Absolutely.
not happen in India at all. Even the little research that happens is not really the way they do it. And a lot of institutions which are, in the far-flung areas where the numbers are very small, 30, 40 students in a class, there is a one-on-one connect, and there's a research does not happen in the last years of the college, but it starts with the first year of college. Then there's a variety of subjects that they offer, and it's very contextual. So I was visiting the Atlantic coast of Canada, and there were a lot of courses related to marine biology, marine geography, because it's an Atlantic coast. Now that becomes very relevant for that place. So they're developing children, and they're developing futures, jobs where people would educate and then be employable. So, one is that in the higher education system, there needs to be more diversification, so that,
Okay.
because every child is not only interested in geography honors or geography as a pass course, but
Absolutely.
there could be a marine biology as well, where, biology and geography together, the child student studies. So that was very beautiful to see. And of course, the other thing is, like, the ease with which they deal with the professors, the dignity that is being, extended to a student, not that he's not a student, he's an adult, he has a right to say no. He has a right to question. And a lot of independence being given. So now my own son is studying in Europe. And they don't ask them to attend classes every day. They don't ask them. There's a set rule that you expected to follow. And I see that there's so much of an independence that the child develops. And I think we need to start treating our students as adults. They would do fabulously well because they are also responsible for their own learning and driving their own life. So
Yes.
research, variety of subjects, dignity and respect to students, allowing them to speak and question. I think all of that is something that just stands out so evidently in those colleges and universities. Yeah.
Absolutely, ma'am. I agree with the all points, and specifically the research part, how importance they give it to research, and how they are providing with every amenity and grants to empower the research culture in the specific fields and for the innovation and all. So it's been great talking to you, ma'am. An absolute delight to hear and learn from what you had to say. Is there anything that you would like to add on, ma'am?
Yes, I want to ask both of you. We've been hearing that online classes are not so effective. They are bad. The media is playing up so much. I somehow disagree with it, but I want to know from both of you as students. I know you don't have to be politically correct because nothing is perfect. Do you enjoy these online classes more, or do you enjoy when you were in the school and your teachers and children were physically present? Which one do you think helped you learn more? Which medium?
So for me, basically, I've lived in Dubai all my life, and I'm still stuck over here. Currently, I haven't been able to move to Kolkata yet. So there was a lot of tension regarding that, like when would I be able to physically attend my classes, or would I be able to at all, given the fact that I'm in a different country altogether. Online classes have basically given me a lot of mental peace at the moment because I'm a very anxious person. So it's given me something to do, something to keep myself preoccupied. Of course, it is mentally draining at times for us as students because when we have doubts, teachers are not always in the best position to address those concerns because they have to keep up with portions. Um, but all in all, it is still something to do every single day. It is like they're trying to bring some semblance of normalcy into our lives, and that is the best we can expect or hope for during this time.
Okay. Siddhant, what about you?
Exactly, ma'am. The normancy that Brinda talked about was very accurate and very particular. So the thing is, I have been advocating for the regular classes since there have been panel discussions and debates. But I probably believe because there was no structured training and contingency plan at the beginning. Teachers are learning at a very fast pace, and that is, as you said, hats off to them. But the thing is that we are not able to cooperate on our level, and we are not able to give ourselves to the online classes with the same diligence as we used to be give it to our regular classrooms. So that's a backlash in our part, and the backlash is and this from the teachers' part is that basically there are a variety of methods to teach on the online medium as well. Some teachers are using graphic badge, some are using the general PDF tool. So there's variety of methods. So there is no common ground to basically where we should be focusing on. So there is some backlog in if there is no graphic part in chemistry, if there is a graphic part in. So that's creating a difference, and that is leading to some work pressure. Not, but absolutely to be very normal to this point. Yes, it has helped a lot to bring a normalcy because this time was not just about education; it was also to ease the mental stress and pressure from the students because they are confined in their homes and they have been stopped and their all activities have been blocked.
Right. That's a wonderful reply from both of you, and thank you so much for being so candid and honest about it.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you so much, ma'am, for your answers and your words of advice. This was Brinda and Siddhant interviewing Miss Nisha Bhakar, Principal, Navyuga World School, Nellore, Andhra Pradesh, for Juana Studio Cityscapes. Signing off.